everybody, welcome to the Randle Sports Wrap-Up. I'm your host, Seth Hagan. As you can see, I'm coming to you live from the Bear Bryant Man Cave, aka any Bama fan's house ever. Clearly my choice of an orange and blue shirt was misguided. But let's get back to the football, shall we? The first full weekend of football saw some big upsets on the college scene and some big blowouts in the pros. But upsets are always good for a laugh, so we'll start there. Arkansas. Really? After losing quarterback Tyler Wilson at halftime, the Razorbacks couldn't hold off the Warhawks of Louisiana-Monroe and ultimately fell in overtime 34-31 at home. What was supposed to be a cupcake tune-up for Alabama turned into the biggest college football upset in 5 years. Alabama was actually the last SEC squad to be upended by the Warhawks back in 2007, but that was then, and now you can bet Alabama is practically salivating over the prospect of knocking Tyler Wilson around for a second straight year. Wilson better hope they slip on that pile of drool, or else he's in for another long night at home. The loss to Louisiana-Monroe dropped them out of the top 25 completely. The only bigger drop happened back in 2007 when number 5 ranked Michigan lost to Appalachian State in their home opener. And speaking of Michigan, way to keep it close against Air Force. Bet you want that rematch now, right? Michigan? They got disconnected, similar to how Rich Rodriguez was at Michigan. But he shall have his revenge. Rich Rod found a new home this offseason at the University of Arizona, a team that up until now had its only Pac-12 football championship in a three-way tie in 1993. And their lifelong irrelevance to college football allowed them to catch Oklahoma State snoozing on Saturday. A week after showing no mercy to perennial patsy Savannah State, the Cowboys were riding high on their 84-point shutout. But your own medicine never tastes very good, does it, Mike Gundy?
I'm a man!
We know. But your team got beat like a 5-year-old boy who got a little too creative with his new marker set at Daddy's house. 59 points? I know you lost your gunslingers last year on offense, but coming off a potential title run, you sure have picked a convincing argument. Alright, moving on to week 1 in the NFL, most of our Southern teams stood tall, or at least lost to fellow division powers. But one game stood out to me involving the Saints and the debut of one Robert Griffin III. Maybe you've heard of him. 1 year removed from breaking the all-time record for passing yards in a season, this was an opportunity for Drew Brees to tell RG3, "Let me show you how to do this, son." Instead, Griffin put on a clinic of his own, almost eclipsing Brees' total while only throwing 2 more passes than Brees completed all night. We haven't seen a debut by a rookie quarterback like this since Cam Newton. Well, that was anticlimactic. Anyway, Robert's performance put the rest of the league on notice and makes me think that the Redskins aren't that far from being in the playoff conversation in the near future. The rest of our Southern stalwarts performed well on Sunday. The Falcons and the Texans both glided by their opponents in easy wins and looked to be in control to start the season. And others, not so much. The Titans, Dolphins, and Panthers all struggled and couldn't even crack the 15-point mark. Now, all 3 feature quarterbacks that are second-year starters or younger, so they have room to improve. But all 3 fan bases are used to being competitive, and this mediocrity won't cut it. The Rams and Jaguars stayed competitive in their Week 1 matchups, but for different reasons. The Rams surprised the Detroit Lions on their home field and nearly pulled out a win, but Matt Stafford led a calm comeback. In Jacksonville, you almost had an overtime win against the Vikings. What do you want? A cookie? Here you go. The game that truly impressed me was the first game of the season on Wednesday. The Cowboys' defense looked strong, a sign that Rob Ryan's system may be taking hold. Or that the Giants are starting slow like they do every year. Either way, they look good, but don't forget the most important thing. Romo didn't blow it! And that's the show for this week. If you missed last week's episode, I put a link in the box below, so make sure to check that out. And as always, catch up on all your Southern sports with us at RandleSportsReport.com. But until next time, this is the Randle Sports Wrap-Up, and I'm Seth Hagan. We'll see you later.